And thank you so much for staying with us here as we're live from the Convention Center in the heart of Philadelphia with the Magnificat Day of Faith. As we move into the afternoon, we have the evening session coming up. I'm here, of course, with Jeanette Benkovic. We continue on a very special guest, Mrs. Fleur Nebert, who's actually the artist who created that beautiful reliquary, which the Martin family is in, as far as the relics. It's really unbelievable. Somebody told me how beautiful it was, and when I went up there, I was still floored.
Thank you for that. But first, thank you for inviting me at that your television. I'm thrilled to attend that magnificent Magnificat Day and to be among 3,000 of American and international pilgrims. I'm very impressed. And also, I would say hello to everyone on television and on internet, because we are all united in prayer. So yes, I'm French, you can hear that, I'm sorry for my accent, and I'm a sculptor, and my work is mostly focused on spirituality, so I'm creating sculptures and liturgical furnitures, like altars, embos, tabernacles, monstrance.
Okay. Right.
And for that very special day, I made that reliquary. This is a long story, but I will make it short, I promise. Last year, I was attending the Magnificat Day in Orange County. I know Magnificat and Magnificat Foundation because I'm writing commentaries on art, because art and spirituality are the center of my life. And so I attended the Magnificat Day, and I was so overwhelmed with joy when I was back in France. And at that time, I was creating a chapel in Lisieux, which name is Our Lady of the Smile. Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, wow. Yeah, lovely.
And it was for Thérèse of Lisieux. And so I explained to the rector how blessed we were to receive all that spirituality, all that faith through good beauty. That was so amazing. And the rector told me, but indeed, that seems to be amazing. And we could maybe make a bridge between France and the US, and between the Magnificat Foundation, who is so devoted to promote truth, good and beautiful, and Lisieux, the sanctuary of the Little Flower. And so he entrusts the foundation with relics, and I was asked to create something to carry and to embody their spirituality. So the reliquary is quite simple. On a pedestal, you have 3 individual reliquaries for each one of the person of the Martin family. And on the top of each one, you have the name, in fact, the first letter of the first name of each one, meaning L for Louis, A for Azali, because the real name is Azali. Zeli is a nickname.
It's a nickname.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And T for
our viewers
Thérèse.
can see it on the screen at home as you're describing it there as well.
Yeah.
So.
And you can see that the highest one is the Thérèse reliquary. And why? Because she is a doctor of the church. She's a very immense saint.
You know, parents always like to have doctors in their family. They like their kids to grow up to be a doctor, right?
And the parents of Thérèse are linked by wedding rings. It was to underline the powerful and the beauty of sacrament of marriage, to remind us. And each of one is represented by flowers. And
Yes.
why? It's inspired by a drawing from Thérèse herself. And the parents are lilies, 2 lilies, and you can notice that one of them is a little bit lower than the other one. It's the one of Zélie. And it's because of her early passing, which was very important for Thérèse, and very, very sad, but also a kind of, I don't know, not a reason, but something in her sanctity. And of course, like everybody on earth know that Thérèse is a rose, and you know the very famous sentence, I will spend my heaven doing good on earth, and you will see, I will let fall a shower of roses. So they are all of them before kind of background with a radiant cross. And why? It's because everyone is so deeply linked with Christ that the reason of their sanctity. No Christ, no sanctity. They are not saint by their own. They are saint because they loved and knew Christ. And the whole ensemble is covered and protected by a domed cover, which is like a chapel. And because family is the third chapel, the place where you learn to believe and to live from the gospel.
And also your first name, doesn't it relate to why you decided maybe with the flowers?
Yeah, it's
right?
like, you know, I'm the very little flower. If she's the little flower, I'm the very little.
Well, you know, the reliquary is a piece of art, as you say, and as you go through and you explain the symbolism behind it, it takes us more deeply into the tremendous mystery of sanctity in and of itself. And I love those two lilies of that house the relics of Louis and Zélie. And you know, I think that even the beauty of the lily that is Zélie's, you know, it's open, and it shows an openness to life, doesn't it? And it also speaks to the feminine dimension of spiritual motherhood as well as physical motherhood. And she almost seems to be, the way in which that particular flower is situated in relation to Louise, she almost seems to be, in a sense, inviting. And he stands strong, that lily that represents him stands strong as a leader, as a protector, as a provider. And we know that Louis was a very good provider, protector, and leader for his family. So there's so much to discover there, and all
really
good
a
art
great
should
model
take you
for
into
fatherhood,
it.
really.
Isn't it, though?
And to show how important a father's presence is in a child's life.
Yes, absolutely. That spiritual paternity and spiritual maternity is beautifully demonstrated.
And that's the first, very first family reliquary. And on those times where family is suffering so much, I think it's important. And you can't imagine how many couples I've seen coming hand in hand venerate the reliquary and the relics, not the reliquary, because the reliquary is only the body and the relics are the soul.
That's right.
And so they came and venerated, and with the children in their heart. And also I've seen a disabled girl, so sweet, and I told her my secret. Therese is a wonderful friend in heaven. And I said she could have her as a friend.
Just before we go, because we're just about out of time, I'm just running. So where do the relics, or that reliquary, where is it going to end up permanently being?
So the Magnificat Foundation has been entrusted with those relics. So the reliquary is presented for the very first time during that Magnificat Day. Tomorrow on Sunday will be at the cathedral, and then in the Carmel of Philadelphia till the next Magnificat Foundation event.
Okay, which will be sometime next year then.
I hope so.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us.
So wonderful to meet you, Fleur.
And
thank you, bye.
That's a beautiful piece of art, and congratulations on your child. Coming shortly. And we'll be back shortly as well, right here. I'm Doug Keck with Janet Bankovic taking a break live from Philadelphia. Stay with us, much more ahead.